Welcome to the book club, everybody. So, we are going to get started with the book club. Um, let's see. What if a transformational guide? I think that's this. I think, well, this way there. Okay. We are going to get started every Tuesday at noon. We go live and discuss one question out of the book. Everybody is open to participate, join in, and you can call in on Podbean or you can join on YouTube in the chat. So today's question is, what if you came back? Wait, there's not supposed to be a pause there. What if you came back in with these people at this time in these circumstances to heal you? So, what if everything you've gone through or going through with anyone in your life is about healing you? What if that's the whole purpose? What if that is why we are here, what we are doing? And what if that's what you the whole reason you incarnated into this life is to heal things in you. Yesterday on the show, as you guys know, I know many, if not all of you were on the show yesterday. A woman said, she's in a very toxic workplace, and is this her karma to go through this? And I have different views about karma. Even if you did something horrible in another life, it's to come in balance through healing, not suffering, because suffering creates more suffering. So I think if you're in a place that's very toxic, or you're with around very toxic people, family, friends, work, whatever it is, the goal is to first and foremost not be in a toxic place, but to realize you don't deserve it, and to move into spaces that don't have that toxicity, and to heal within you whatever allows that, or that puts you in that circumstance. So that's kind of my take on it. That's my understanding. I know that other people have a different opinion about, first of all, why we're here on this planet, and what this planet is. I think it's a progression. It's about evolving. I think it's about being in that space where we are healing. And I think that healing can come from many different things, many different ways. For each person, it's very different and individual. And I do believe that once we heal to a certain level, which we have all done, that healing energy, how it evolves, will automatically start to affect those around us. And then the experiences will help to teach them. So I do believe the more we heal, will change everything for everyone. I also believe that if we are in situations that are unhealthy, we do everything we can to try to get out of them and be in the healthiest possible situations. And I know it's not always easy. And I know it's not something that can just be done with a snap of a finger, but we can actively work towards that. So thank you so much, Rebecca, for putting the question in. If anybody wants to call in, or can call in, and or wants to put your how you feel about this question in the chat, I love that. Okay, Fawn, Rebecca, can you call back in because as you and Fawn called in at the exact same time? There we go. There we go. Excellent. Okay, excellent. Okay, you guys, if whoever wants to go first, whoever can go first, go ahead and say what you feel about this and how it will affect.
Sure, I would love to go first just because I have to get back to work.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see what I wrote down. I agree with it that we do come back here to heal. I believe this is called Earth School, and we come here for the lessons that we decided that we had to come back to do, maybe through past lives or through things that have happened that we still want to work on so we can ascend higher. My current life right now has been built around a lesson that I've just gotten in the last 3 years, even though I'm much older. I was brought back to a certain place to actually get these lessons, not knowing when I came why I was coming back. Without going in really deep to it, not having a close relationship with my mother, yet coming back here for her initially, not realizing all the things that had happened through my lifetime as a child, because we don't really realize what we're going through at the moment, and sometimes we can't remember things. Like I don't remember a lot of things, but as I've come back here, I've actually found out so many things that all have to do with trust. It was all about trust. It was trusting. So I learned to trust myself through these current lessons. I learned to love myself through these current lessons. I learned that I can't find love outside of myself. I can search for love over and over again. But if you don't love yourself, how are you going to actually be that person for somebody else to love them completely? I had to find myself. So the whole healing thing is correct because we're brought back here and we don't even realize what's going on. Kind of like we live in a bubble of not knowing what's going on. And then if you're lucky enough to have your soul come in and kind of guide you through the process, you can start to connect within who you really are, the divine being that you really are. And like you said, Toni, we don't deserve that treatment. None of it. None of it. We don't deserve it. So I learned to not engage and put up boundaries even now. Even now, even if it hurts you, even for yourself, you have to do it because those people that have put you through those lessons, they're still working through their lessons and maybe they're still not getting it. So they're not going to get it. And yet you're in a place where you understand, you see the big picture and you get it, but they're still in your life. And so by keeping those toxic people in your life, it brings your vibration down. It's just like walking into Walmart, not to be rude against Walmart. I do love Walmart, but you're going to get a certain amount of negative energy in Walmart, including the fact that they can manipulate the lights and the different things
Yes.
to make you feel a certain way. So let's see. I could probably talk on this for a while. Hold on, let me look at my notes. I'm getting sidetracked. So just stop looking outside of yourself for love. Trust yourself. Put up the boundaries. Heal yourself. Heal those around you that are willing to be part of the healing. If they're willing to try to heal, that's great. But if you've tried for 10 years and they're just not changing at all, you know that you can't always just keep trying and trying and trying. You can do the best you can, the best that you can, and that's all you can do. What do you think, Toni?
There's so much I want to say on that. So here's first and foremost, yeah, I want to say there's just so much. Everything you were saying, something popped in that I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's so true. That's so true. So first, sometimes when we go back to someplace, like it doesn't. If you move to a certain, you move out of your area that you were brought up in and you move back to that, there's something to be resolved there. And I've gone through that also. And when we come in as babies or we have babies ourselves or nieces or nephews or whatever it is, or puppy, and they come in and we see them as perfect and pure. And as infants, we don't have fear. If we're hungry, we cry until we get food. If we are cold, we cry until we're covered, until somebody figures out what's going on with us. If we need a diaper change, whatever it is. Hey, Mama Bear, thank you for joining. Um, Today is book club, and we're discussing the question that Rebecca put in, and please feel free to discuss with us. Um, and I wanna put it in another way. I wanna change the word healing, okay, to self-love, to completely loving yourself, not thinking you're better than somebody else or worse than someone else, but working from that space of complete and total self love and loving everything about ourselves. And that doesn't mean I'm the best person in the world. That means I'm so content and happy with who I am today. And I actually am. I'm actually very content and happy. Now, I'm going to tell you this really weird dynamic that happens with most women, not with men. No shade against any man. As soon as we are coupled up, for some women, we start trying to improve ourselves or to become the person we think they want. And obviously, if they're with us, we are the person they wanted, at least for that, right? So one of the things I've learned about myself is to just be content with whoever I am, and no matter who I'm with, whether it's my a sibling that has a PhD, or you know this sort of person or that sort, I'm good exactly as I am. I don't need to change, improve, or do anything for anyone else. I just need to, if I feel that's something that's calling for me, I will do that. Going kind of back to that infant stage where we come in and we know with every ounce of our being that if we want something, we just cry until we get it. Okay, we can't cry as adults, but I think you guys know what I mean. But knowing that it's here for us and knowing that we are in that space. The other thing, um, Fawn, there was so much that you said. If we look at this as a school, and it is, but the school we think are hard lessons. And the only true lesson is that we are here for us. You are here. Fawn is here for Fawn. Rebecca's here for Rebecca. Noelle is here for Noelle. Even if you have children, yes, you are here to guide those children and help them become responsible adults. But at the end of the day, and if you have a partner or a parent or whomever, at the end of the day, you are here for you, to evolve you, to love you. And the way you treat you, 9 times out of 10, is the way others are going to treat you. The way you feel about you is the way you feel others are going to feel about you. So, having said all of that, there's so much in what you said that was very powerful, Fawn, and thank you so much for sharing it. And I do want everyone to really embrace that if this is a plane or a planet, a school, that is the education to love ourselves and to heal, and through love, because love heals. In my opinion, love heals everything. If we have that love for ourselves, then our cells are healing, our muscles are healing, every ounce of us physically is healing, and then our mind is also healing. Welcome, Evangelist Paul. So I believe we come in with that love, and we go through what we go through to come back to that love again, if we can get there. Okay, that's my thought. Rebecca, let's hear from you, if that's okay.
Yes. This question it's always, for me, is I have to learn how to love myself, because
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't get the love that a kid gets, or a child, but that was just my mindset
Hmm.
of how I thought about things when I was younger. Now that I'm older, I can see, yes, I got the love of how my parents received the love of what they know, so they pass it on.
Right.
Um, and I'm just learning how to be patient and just love myself. And the funny thing is, I'm healing myself, loving myself, being patient, and I have my children, and I can see each of my children have something of me, my anger, my happiness, everything. I'm like, wow, that was me. Calm down, Rebecca. How do you help that person? So I just listen. But it's crazy that I have one of each of every emotion or feeling that I have, but I can see that they're also healing on their own from that anger. I can see it and I can feel it, but I just stay quiet. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
Yeah.
It makes so much sense. And you know what? Just like you went through it and you come to the other side and heal, hopefully they'll go through it and they come to the other side and heal. And it's amazing because I truly believe that in what's the word? Give me a second here. I'm so sorry, you guys. Um, yeah, when you see things, when you're just observing, when you observe things in yourself and in others, you can become the greatest teacher. And the healing that can happen just from observation is quite profound because with observation comes understanding. And with understanding will come healing. Okay. And I think everyone, most children, especially if there is more than one child in the house, feels as though maybe they weren't loved, they didn't get enough love, and there's always the competition and or comparison in childhood. So you might see how your parents treated other children more favorably, or there was competition just between the kids without the parents or with the parents. Can't you be more like your brother? Can't you be good like your sister? Why your sister understood this better? Why aren't you smart like your sister? Or in some cases, why are you why are you so stupid? I don't know. If I knew why I was stupid, maybe I wouldn't be stupid. I'm kidding. Um, but the craziest thing too with that, Rebecca, is that whatever our parents mimicked to us when we were little, we will find making those same statements as we get older. So, for example, one of my things was every time I did something, I was like, "Oh my god, I'm just so stupid," and that was one of the people like um, my stepfather was always like, "You're so stupid. Why you're just so stupid? Like I'm a kid. Leave me alone." But so then we have to unlearn that also. Like that's not a true statement. That's not a true statement at all. But in observing and in understanding and in just being able to allow people to see it for themselves is a beautiful thing, especially if you have the wherewithal to not react to what they are saying and doing and how they are behaving, whether it's with anger or whatever it is in that moment, right, Rebecca? That's a very, very
Yes.
powerful thing to have that and be in that space. Hey, Darlene, thanks for joining us today for book club. The question of the day is what if you came back in with these people at this time in these circumstances to heal you. Right now, Rebecca is on the line. Darlene, you will be next. Noelle, of course, if you want to call in, you can. I know you might be a bit busy, but if you want to call in, you can. Um, and Rebecca, one of the things in healing, well, for everybody, one of the things in healing is first the knowing that there was something to heal from, and then the pinpointing it. And I try very, very diligently, as much as I can, look at like a stepfather or my mother or my father or whatever, whomever it is, or my sister was mean, or this ex-boyfriend did that. I always, and I know I've said this on the show before, I go back into myself and say, okay, yes, these are their characteristics. And these characteristics are showing up to me for a reason. And what is that reason? Why are they showing up in front of my face? And then also, why am I putting up with it? So I have this running joke that every man or boy, whatever we want to call them, have not been faithful in my life, right? So why is that? What in me? There's something in me that either has a belief that men just aren't faithful, which, I mean, I've said this before too, that what my mom said, all men cheat, all men lie. Well, I proved that right. But is that true? No, because I've met men that do not cheat, do not lie. They have so much integrity. They believe that character is character. And, but for some reason, this is the type of person. And they say you'll date the same person in a different body until you heal whatever that type is trying to help you heal. So here's my question. I want to ask you guys this, and I really want you to think about it. If somebody's showing up with a certain personality type and it's something you need to heal, are they a bad, I don't want to say bad person, but can we look at this person and go, oh, that's somebody that showed up to show me what I needed to work on in me, instead of that's somebody that showed up to hurt me, or to be another cheater or liar or whatever it is. This is someone that showed up to show me what I'm still trying to work on. Okay, so Darlene, what does this question do for you, and how does it change how you look at the circumstances you've been in? If Darlene, if you want to participate, you don't have to talk if you don't want to. So, okay, you guys, whomever can talk, if you look at it like, for example, Rebecca, some of the circumstances in your childhood that led to adults, partners being in your life that were much like your parents, what does that change for you? What were they trying to show you needed to heal? And we know it's self-love, right? But what else? Who wants to jump in and say?
I'm here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I was in a relationship like that, and now that I'm healing, because I can tell that I'm healing.
Yes.
I can see, like, what the heck was I thinking?
What was I say that all the time. Did you guys? And I know right now there are women in the room, and we're all women, but did you ever see one of your exes and go, my friends were right, he's not even that cute? What was I thinking?
Yes, but I do see why.
Yes.
Now I understand. And then in one of the shows you said how angels will test you too, to see if you talk back or you go back. I'm like, oh, they're testing me right now. They're testing me. And I do see how this person was in my life, and I can see how they're also like my parent. And I'm like, oh, I don't like that about my parent. Why was I with this person?
Yes.
I'm like, what? And cheaters. It's like saying,
Right.
it's like people when they tell you, oh, you're hanging out with this friend and she's like this kind of person, you know,
Mm-hmm.
pretty, she's easygoing. Not because my friend is easygoing, I'm also going to be easygoing. It's the same thing with the cheater.
Yeah.
There's not always cheaters. Everybody's different.
Exactly.
women.
Exactly.
Men and women. But yes, I learned my lesson based on dating someone that kind of resembles one of my parents that I
100.
don't like, or you know, now that I'm going through this, it's like I don't have anger, so it's like, oh, I see now a
Yeah.
lot of stuff.
And that's so true, Rebecca. Oh my goodness. So one of the things that I started to do is say, okay, who is this person representing? Because we go, and I hope this is such a light bulb moment for everyone. When we meet a person, there's something about that person that is very comfortable for us that makes us want to be around them more. So if you meet somebody and you get that, what people call, oh my God, I felt this energy I've never felt before. I've had that. I had that. And there's something about that person's energy or something about them that is right away very, very comfortable. And that energy that puts you in the comfort zone is probably an energy that reminds you of um, your one of your parents, a friend, an ex, whatever it is, because that's the comfort zone. So we typically meet people that are the energy or the frequency of somebody who we've already had in our life and felt safe with if we date them. And but those are also the people, because they are a comfort zone person, they have those characteristics of the people that we are trying to heal from also. So they'll have some of the good and some of the things that we need to heal. So now when I meet somebody, I'm always like, okay, where is my mom in them? What part of my mom are they bringing? What part of this? What part of that? And a lot of the times when we have somebody come in that we're instantly attracted to, it's that energy, and that familiarity. That's the word, the familiarness or the familiarity of a family member. And that's the attraction. That's the comfort zone and the attraction that we carry and connects us to them. If we met somebody who was nothing like anyone we know, it might feel a little bit odd at first, but as we heal, as we go into that self-love space, we start to pull people on that from that space with us. And I will believe that for even one time, when my mom was alive, and she and I had gone through a little thing where we weren't talking for a minute. um, I met this woman and I was explaining this woman to my sister. I'm like, oh yeah, she's da 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 da. And my sister right away says to me, oh, so you found a replacement mom. Like, she's exactly like mom, but she was a friend, not a partner. And I was like, huh. Okay, well, you nailed that. Yeah, I guess I did. So if we don't heal it, someone else will come in with it so that we can heal that in us. Not to say we have to suffer with this type of person throughout our life. So it's saying, so that we can heal those parts, because then those parts will no longer show up, and then we'll have the good parts. Does that make sense to everybody? Uh, yeah, okay, Noel, whenever you can call in, and we'll put you on right away. That is awesome. Yeah, Fawn says yes, it does. Um, And then Rebecca, thank you, Rebecca. So, and if you're on Podbean and you want to call in, please call in. Um, and Darlene, just stay on. We do clearings and healings through here, and we work with all of it. So here's I'm gonna repeat the question again, and then we'll go from there. What if you came back in with these people at this time in these circumstances to heal you? Now I'm going to go into the at this time, because according to history, you know supposedly, there were, in the different time frames, if we would have been mature at the 60s, in the 60s, if we would have come in the let's say the 20s, and we would have gone through the at 20 gone through the Great Depression. Hey, Noelle, I'm going to let Noelle talk because I know she's in the middle of things. Go ahead, Noelle. What would you like to share today?
Actually, can y'all hear me? Because I have my headphones on.
Yep, we can. I can.
Okay, cool. I'm done doing my little projects. I'm not really doing anything, but I'm pondering quite a bit today, because where I'm at right now is I feel so indifferent with relationships, because I've chosen a few relationships that I've had some surprises and had a lot of life lessons from, and Toni knows all about this. But for me right now, I feel like taking a step back from relationships and just kind of seeing what happens when the dust settles.
Yeah.
And kind of focusing on other really important aspects of my life, like career, and just trying to get some of my other things situated, like retirement and things like that. But I'm really thinking about this a lot. This was a really good question today, because what kind of people am I drawing into my life, and why? Because there's been some drama.
Yeah. with everyone, I think, like all of us pulling people, and it there ends up being some drama. But go ahead, Noelle.
I think that's what I wanted to share, is that if I'm bringing this kind of relationship into my being, and I'm choosing it and I'm making it happen, it's like, I'm really trying to focus on why I'm doing that. And Toni suggested that I write down on a piece of paper the list of all of the things that are wonderful that I would really like in a relationship. And I'm working on that now. So maybe that's something we can share for today, Toni, is making a list of what we want in our life, and then kind of focusing on those things and why they're important.
Yeah, I love that. So I say, okay, so first and foremost, decide, do you want to be, first of all, what type of relationship do you want? Because sometimes people, when we're very young, people might think, oh, I want to be married and have children and have the picket fence and yada, yada, right? And that's the goal, to get married and have the kids. And whatever that vision we grew up with might end up being the vision we end up marrying into. But as we mature and we've been through some relationships, and maybe children aren't the goal any longer, we might not have the goal of, I want that marriage certificate, I want another wedding, I want to be married. It might be, I just want a partner that's really good. And I know people who want to be in a relationship, but they don't necessarily even want to live with another person again, because they love their independence and freedom and the energy of their home without a partner. So at this point in the game, whether you're married or not, whether you're living with someone or in a relationship or not, and I say do this for many different categories. We're going to do partner first. What do I really want in a partner? What are the characteristics? How do I want them to behave? How do I want them to be with me in that relationship? The next category or list is, what do I want the relationship to look like? Because we often end up in a relationship and we never think about what we want it to look like, how we want it to be, what we want to do in this relationship, where we want it to go. We just kind of go with the flow, and then we end up like in a rocky river being banged against cave sides and our feet scraping across the bottom as we're being dragged and we're going under in big waves. And because we didn't really think, oh, what do I want this relationship to look like? Where do I want it to go? So it's just going crazy sometimes. And then the first thing is, what type of relationship? Do I want this marriage relationship with the piece of paper? And then you need to make sure the person that you're ending up with, they want that same thing. And then what are my rules for me and what are my deal breakers? Like, because we don't think about those things prior to getting into relationships. We just have the assumption that it's going to be a decent person. And then by the time we're bonded to this person, we just say, well, okay, I'll just say something to them. But then we realize, okay, I've been here before. I realize people don't change, even if I say something, but now I'm in this and it's so difficult to get out of it. And especially if we've had parents that haven't been the healthiest role models, because of whatever they went through, right? Our parents went through a lot also. I mean, and so we learn as children that even if somebody is unhealthy or they don't know how to parent the best, but we love them, and then we're learning to love somebody who might not be the best person to us. And then as adults, we love somebody who is not the best person to us. And that can be from a sibling, a parent, a step parent, whatever it is. And we don't know better because that's what we have learned throughout our life. So, and then the next category is do that with friendship, do that with coworkers, do that with everything. Figure out what, and the deal breakers are so important. It's so important to like, no, this is a deal breaker. Like one of my deal breakers now, and in the past it wasn't as important, but because of one of my last relationships, an absolute deal breaker for me. And some people say, oh, that's not a big deal. Good. You can have him then. Take him. I will gladly give him to you. But for me, a deal breaker is a guy who stares at other women while we're together because number one, it's just immature. It's disrespectful. If you can't control your eyes in front of me, you probably can't control other body parts when I'm not around. And if you're staring, you're lusting and you're wanting, and you will act on it at some point. Okay, that's just me. If somebody else is okay with that, God bless you. I'm happy you can put up with that. I can't. As soon as I see that, I'm out. I'm done. Bye. And don't tell me that's not what I was looking at. I don't care. I'm done. You weren't looking at me. That's all that counts at this point. What were you staring at the man she was with? Nope, that's a deal breaker for me. And the moment I know somebody's not being honest with me, I'm out. I'm done. I'm done with that. And those are two deal breakers. So you have to know your deal breakers and you have to be prepared and be strong that no matter who that person is, I love me and I respect my guidelines more than their inability to behave as a functioning adult, a respectful functioning adult. And those are my two of my deal breakers. I have other ones. Oh, trust me, I have other ones, but those are two of my big ones. And even if I like now, I don't need evidence anymore. I don't need evidence. If I think you're cheating at this point, we're done because you're acting shady to begin with. So those are my deal breakers. So I say when you're making your list, have your deal breakers like as soon as I suspect this, we're done. I don't need to wait for the proof. I don't need to get the evidence because because even if you get the truth, you never get the whole truth. You could walk in on somebody, uh, doing the deed, and they'd be like, no, 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 it's not what it looks like. Looks like doggy style to me. No, 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 no. I was giving her the Heimlich. No, you don't understand. Like, done. Nope, I don't need to catch you in the act anymore. I don't need to see the person calling on your phone so you can just say, oh, it's just a friend. I have friends. You say she's just a friend. Oh, you say he's just a friend. Oh, no, no more of that. If I those are my deal breakers. Now everybody has different deal breakers. It might be a character or a behavior, but you need to know that. You need to make these lists and you need to be so clear about it before new people walk into your life, or you let old people re-enter your life, because what you're not clear about, somebody else will make clear for you. Believe me, if you are not clear about it, if you are not strong in it, somebody else will make it clear for you. They will. Oh, you don't know what abuse is? Let me show you. Let me systematically show you what narcissistic abuse is. Let me and if you don't, at the first sign of disrespect, and this is in the book, one of the books I'm writing, the first thing you how is it said in the book? It's like the first thing you excuse will not be the last thing you excuse. Like if you excuse a behavior from a person or something from a person, you will keep excusing and it will get worse every single time. So you have to have those guidelines so clear for yourself, knowing what you want and knowing what your rules and your what your I will not accepts are, and then sticking to it. Because you know what? And Rebecca, you said, you're just spending time alone. And Noelle, you're learning to be with you. And once you learn to be with you and learn who you are and what you want, no one will be able to give you anything you don't want. And this is one way I'm going to say it to you guys. It's just coming to me now, is treat it like an allergy. Like if I need an EpiPen for your behaviors because I'm allergic to disrespect, I'm allergic to narcissism, I am allergic to cheating, then you cannot be in my life. I'm allergic to you. And the other thing I want to say is this is I believe in giving people the benefit of the doubt, but not when they have given you so much doubt that it happens again and again. Um, and if you are with someone where you have to question their behavior in any way, or question, is this acceptable, or oh, why would they do that? People who love you and respect you, that are capable of love and respect, will treat you in that way, no exceptions. And if they're not treating you that way, it's not anything you did except for not walking away. I hope that makes sense. Okay, who wants to talk? Go ahead and say something. Did I just did I just make everybody does anybody have anything to say?
Yes, hi. So when we were talking about that, like I am spending more time by myself. Sometimes when people ask me, what do you want? And to make a list, sometimes I don't know. So having some time to spend by myself, from what you're saying, Toni,
Yeah.
it's a good opportunity to really ask yourself those hard and difficult questions, and then maybe do some soul searching to write down what you want on the paper. So some of the examples that you just used really kind of helped me understand, because maybe I'm not being discriminating enough. Maybe I really need to raise the bar on what I'm looking for, and then being okay if I don't find that, or I just need to find that one person. It doesn't need to be 50 people that can kind of fill the slot. It needs to be the one person that really does complete me or works well with me. Do you think that that's Sounds about right.
That sounds so freaking amazing, Noelle. Here's what I'm going to say. And as you were talking, I was like, yes, yes, yes. So if you don't know what you want, everybody knows what they don't want. Do the opposite of that. I don't want a toxic person. Don't put down I don't want a toxic person. Put down I want somebody who's healthy and stable. I want somebody who's respectful. I don't want a narcissist. Okay, so we want somebody who is has healthy personalities. We want to, if we know what we don't want, by proxy or default, we know what we do want. And I'm going to tell you, if you have had partners that have been narcissistic or liars or cheaters, probably you have had friends that have had some of the same characteristics. Um, and it was to show you that you're not having healthy boundaries and self-love in these areas because you're letting people go over your boundaries, you're letting people go over your what you're letting people harm you even if it's on an emotional level. And a partner, any partner should make you feel safe and secure in the relationship and in the way they treat you. So if you have a partner that is in any way not helping you feel safe or secure or doing things that make you feel insecure, then that is right there. That is all you need. And sometimes we do need to spend a little bit of time alone to figure out who we are at this point, because we're not the same person we were when we entered the last relationship. We're not the same person we were when we ended the last relationship. And we're not the same person we were since the last relationship ended, whether it's with a mom, a dad, a friend, we should be evolving from those points. So figuring out who we are and what we like and what we want then helps us to figure out who we want. And I will say this, the more we figure out what we want, and thank you so much, Noelle. The yes, the shorter the list may be, but it's not non-existent. There are, and I'm not criticizing, it's energy matches energy. What we need to heal will show up for us. The more we heal, then we're going to be, I don't want to make it sound egoic, like we're going to be higher on this level, but there will be people who will show up that will be healthier also, that will be able to match us in that healing process and in not pointing these things out to us. Now, even if we spend time alone and we are healing, people, friends, and or partners will show up and test us. And they'll show up and maybe not on the first day, but eventually they will do something that we think we healed from. And then we have to take that opportunity not to give the benefit of the doubt, not to allow it or go, oh, well, is it really that big of a deal? But to say, listen, I noticed that you did this, and that's fine for who you are. But that's not something I accept in my life. And that in that case, then you know there's growth and you know you've healed and you know you're not afraid, because we're always afraid to lose people. And it's not because we're desperate. I think some people think, oh, she's holding on to me. She's so in love with me. She's so desperate for me. But what if that's not the case? What if it's that we just want to try to make it work out because we're already so invested? But what if we're not supposed to try to do that? What if that's not the goal? What if the goal is to realize this just isn't healthy for me? And I'm supposed to not be in things that are not healthy, because if it's not healthy, it is harming. So that's so true. And making that list, you'll figure it out also as you go. It's something you're going to figure out, like when you see other couples, like I see couples, one of my siblings and their partner, I see their relationship. There's so much I love about their relationship. The way they work together, the way they work with the kids, the way they can communicate and they can just like say things to each other without worrying about, is this going to cause a fight? I don't think I've ever heard of them having like an argument or even yelling at each other or talking disrespectful to each other. And so if I can see that in them, I can say, you know what? It exists. That exists. That's a real life example of a seemingly, for the parts that I see in it, that is a very healthy relationship. They communicate well. Communication is everything. So you definitely want someone that has incredible communication skills. Consistency is everything. They show up, they stay, they're not in and out, they're not ghosting, they're not breadcrumbing. They're very consistent and interested in you, but more importantly, interested in a future with you. And that goes also, like, unless you're looking for temporary work, would you take a job from somebody who was saying, okay, we're going to hire you? And then you get hired and they say, well, we're going to just give you a couple days off. I'll call you when I want you back. Would you keep that job? No. You would constantly be in a fizzy about, am I going to be able to pay my bills? This is not safe. This is not secure. This is not giving me, you would find something else. But when it comes to partners or friends, we allow that behavior. I remember, I'm just going to give you guys, because I always talk about partners, I'm just going to talk about like a friend situation thing. There was a friend I had, and we planned a trip. And we were going to take this trip together. And this person, her ex, thought it was my fault they broke up. I don't know why. That probably what she was telling him, but I didn't care enough to be invested in it. But they were still talking, her ex and her. And the real reason they broke up is because she was, doing the deed with somebody else, but of course could not say that. But so it was easy to blame me. Well, all of a sudden, her ex is going on the trip and all these other people are going on the trip. So then the trip that was originally supposed to be her and I turns out to be her and all these other people, including her ex. So I can't even go. Is that a friend? Do you make an excuse for that? Do you understand that? Do you say, oh, yeah, I get it. That's okay. I understand. Or do you say, that's very disrespectful. I'm done. At the time, I did not say I was done, but I should have. I mean, we were friends for over 20 years, but that was a really shitty thing to do to a person. That's a really super shitty thing to do to a person. First of all, to let your ex think it's my fault. I'm not the one doing you. To be honest about, come on. But it's amazing what we put up with and how we allow people to treat us, and the excuses and the allowances that we give them, even as friends. Now, if that was a job, we would never put up with that as a job. And we should never put up with any of that kind of behavior from anyone. And if we love ourselves, if we respect ourselves, and if we treat ourselves the way we want others to treat us, and we don't allow us to put up with things that we don't want to put up with, those people will be out of our life and new people will come in. And there are not as many, I'm wrong. I'm not going to say that. There are a lot of healthy people out there, but healthy people that are respectful and have boundaries, they are around other people that are respectful and have boundaries. And I'm going to use a really extreme example. Whatever you think of millionaires and billionaires, put that aside just for this example. If there are people that are extremely successful, they're not hanging around with people that are like, I don't want to just say homeless, but that are like, let's just say doing drugs or living, they're not trying to improve their life, because the difference between the personalities is so extreme. And I know I'm trying to be very kind as I say this. So I'm not using all the words I want to use to explain this. So one of the way I would say it is, if you're working on your life and your business and your money and you're learning and you're growing, and then you have somebody who's just sitting around smoking puff puff pass all day, there's going to be such a dramatic change, such a dramatic difference in those two personality types. And although you may understand why the person is puff puff pass all day, that's not the type of person you want in your energy. You want somebody who's also like climbing and working and doing it. And here Rebecca says, my deal breaker is no car, no place, no job. Bye bye. Yeah, 100% exactly on that line. Now I want you guys, each of you, Fawn, Rebecca, Noelle, whether it's a friend, and Darlene, whomever's here, whether it's a friend, a partner, and that should go for everyone in your life. Like, seriously, no matter who it is in your life, name 3 things that are important to you. Other than that, like, they must be honest, they must have integrity, they must be of good character, they must be improving their life, they must be working on, if they're not healed, and nobody's healed, we're all uh, progressing and moving forward and getting to that space of healing. So what are the 3 things that are most important? And yeah, they must want you, consistently to be in their life. And I know that people say that this should not be, but I believe it should. You should be a priority to them. Like, they may not be able to pick up the phone every single time you call them, but they should want to, and they should get back to you if as soon as they can or when they can. These are things that it's important to them, and you're important to them. These are things that people don't think about. Sometimes we just take it for granted, but they're not important things to everybody. Not everybody looks at those things as being important and being a part of a relationship. But the number one thing I've learned is that you need to make sure whom honest, Fawn says honest, hard work, honest, kind, hard worker, integrity, compassion, empathy. Absolutely. Absolutely, Fawn. One of the things I've also realized is you need to be with someone, whether it's a friend, a job, a family member, or a partner, they want it to work out the same way you do. They want the relationship to work out the same way you do. And I'm going to say, if you're at a job and the boss is not, and you want to be fast tracked and promoted, and you want to know that there's advancement in your future, but your boss only sees you in this position, you need to know that. You need to know that. And then if that's the case, you need to find a company that's going to put you on a fast track and then offer advancement. Now, if it's a partner, you need to know that the partner wants the relationship to work out, but the same way you do, whether that be for marriage or living together or monogamy, whatever it is. That's it. The next is friends. If they just look at you as a person of convenience, whenever they're bored, whenever they don't have something else going on or another friend, then they'll latch on to you. But then as soon as somebody else comes around or this group is around, then you're out. That's not a good friend. Or if they are not honest, even as just a friend, that's not someone that you can have in your core group. Could you imagine being a business partner with somebody who and every single person that comes into your life, you should be looking at them as, how would this person be as a business partner with me? Can I trust this person to grow this business into an empire with me? Are they going to be honest and integrity? Are they going to steal? Are they going to lie? Are they going to try to cheat me? If things go bad, are they going to try to destroy the business? And by the way, you are the business. They are a business and you are a business. Do your businesses align? Can they grow separately but together? And that's the mindset you must have when bringing people into your life. Okay, we're at the hour mark, and I actually have a client right after this. So I'm going to read next week's question, which I'm very, very, very excited about. So, you guys, what if angels are real and are ready and waiting to help you? Oh, we are going to talk. What would we have them do for us? How would we have them help us? What would we be asking of them? What would we be doing? Okay, you guys, thank you so much. I love you guys so, so much. Thank you for sharing with me and being here and expressing. I love you guys so much. Next Tuesday, but I'll be on tomorrow at noon for Q&A. So if you guys have questions, connections, come back tomorrow and we will do that. Okay, you guys, have an amazing day.